mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Shaggy boom, gang, bang,
Welcome,
Betty
family.
J, rap, bang,
It's your mom and dad.
drum solo. You
You know what happened the other day? You know what happened the other day, family, is that Evan let Ember, I guess you had like a pair, it was like a little little pair of bongo drums, and you let Ember take them. I didn't even know that you had them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, Evan, play for me. And you played. I was really into it.
Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, listen.
Because your family, Evan used to be, the first thing that he got involved in musically was he was a drummer. So when we were in high school, I would go see his bands play, and you were a decent drummer. And you were a good drummer. You were a good drummer.
What the hell is happening?
You were
Decent?
You were a very good drummer, but when I bring that up now, you're like, I was okay.
Yeah, well, now I work with incredible drummers, so now you realize how bad you really were.
There was a band once that Evan had, family, where he was the drummer and the lead singer.
Listen,
so he wore a Britney Spears.
No, I didn't. You're so full of it. I thought about it. I tried
There was one time that you did. I remember you had the first time you had a Britney Spears mic and you were drumming and singing at the same time.
Marriage?
We're here giving Grant a hard time for serenading, and look at our past. You know what I mean? Cut to me singing for hours with our karaoke machine. I think I'm Christine Daae. All of a sudden, I'm singing Phantom of the Opera for 4 hours straight. No exaggeration.
No exaggeration.
Wishing you were somehow here again.
Yeah,
and
I'll hear it. So I'll be in the studio sometimes and I'll just hear like, whoa, and I'm like, what is happening? And Jess
so
is
we're
just
giving
in there
Grant a hard
ripping.
time, and you've got a Britney Spears mic while you're drumming. I'm turned on by you playing a little bongo drums. I was like, wow, wow, wow. And I'm singing karaoke, so we're not ones to talk, I don't think.
That's true, but I mean, I do believe the charisma can overcome any ick. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. The bongo thing was weird, though, that you were like into that. I was like, why are you into this? Like, this is insane. Like, I'm playing a child's bongo set, and you're like, this is kind of hot. I'm like, okay, well.
I think it's because seeing anyone do anything.
I appreciate that.
Seeing someone do something well is nice.
Sure, right? That helps, right? Like if you're gonna serenade,
sure,
do a good job.
Speaking of, our resident bro science doctor here, Evan Ambrose, did the scientific research. So last week we asked the family in the YouTube comments, we said, hey, let us know if you are into getting serenaded if you like someone, or if it gives you the major ick if you like someone.
Right.
And you looked at the YouTube comments. I haven't seen them yet.
It was like YouTube comments, DMs. I kind of did a little inventory on just the family.
Oh wow, a full research project.
Just a bit of a research, and
what's the
vibe? Well, it's there's kind of three vibes happening.
Okay.
Number one is people were blown away by how good I sounded on the keyboards with Creed. So that was kind of the main thing I would take away from this. And I was just joking, guys, too. Like, that was just like me playing around, you know what I mean? Like casual. So that's kind of
so
the
you
first,
can see why I felt the way I did about the bongos.
First line of business we need to get out of the way is you're welcome. Second line of business is, and this is something I truly like now that I've thought about this more.
Yeah.
People were saying that the eye contact is a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's kind of like if you're doing a good job, you're confident in it, and you're not giving me the eye contact, I can get into it.
You know what? This is an important factor in this discussion, for sure. Because now that I think about it, I'm like, if someone serenaded me, but was, let's just say, playing the piano and looking down, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Right, because there's this kind of like...
It's just like you're good at what you do.
It's an offering.
On the altar of love, You
know what I'm saying? It's like I'm giving you something of mine.
Yeah.
Take it as you will.
How romantic.
Right?
When you say it like that, I'm swayed.
But when you look at someone while you do it, you're forcing a reaction out of them.
True.
Because now you're no longer ingesting the art. You are nervous about how you're looking about the art.
It's the what do I do with my hands thing.
You know what it's like? Someone comes to your house, presents you with a painting, and kind of goes, I made this for you, and looking at you. And now there's this like, I guess I have to hang it up in my house no matter how
versus
shitty
someone
this is.
sending you a painting that you can open on your own. It's a reason why I enjoy.
It's a no pressure. It's a pressure. When you're getting looked at, now it's all about you. It's all about me. It's all about how do I react?
Yeah.
Are they going to be insecure about my eyes not doing a thing?
One of my most favorite things is like opening a birthday present alone and then sending a nice message to somebody or seeing them after. But I am hyper aware of how I'm reacting.
Well, especially for someone like me, who's very bad at faking reactions.
Oh, it's true.
Right? Like very bad. So I'm always very afraid of like someone giving me a gift in person because I'm just like, even if it's like fine, right? Like let's say it's just like something utility. I'll be like, thank you. And then I'm like, now I'm thinking, oh my God, that wasn't enough because Evan's not good at the whole like, oh my God, so I appreciate that. So I appreciated that comment. I thought that was a really good comment.
I do think that's a very important comment. It's a factor that I wasn't hyper aware of before, but now moving forward, I think I'm going to be. I didn't tell you this. A couple days ago, I went out with some of my girlfriends and we went out to a bar, didn't know that it was karaoke night at the bar. So we're just sitting at a booth enjoying ourselves. There's a karaoke stage and people are mostly standing on the stage singing karaoke. Yeah. But at one point, a gentleman singing, "You spin my head right around," which I'm like, throwback.
Yeah, he's been doing that for 25 years. That
was the vibe. Yeah. He walks off the stage.
Through the crowd.
Gets into our booth, like sits down and then is singing at us, looking into our eyes. And at one point, after about 20 seconds of him doing this, I literally leaned over and like yelled over him singing, "I'll pay you money to stop looking into our eyes." Like that was the thing, was the eye contact. Yes. If you would have just been standing there singing, it would have been okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is an important factor.
100%. 100%. And then the third, and this is kind of where I felt a little bad.
Okay.
Was
you felt bad?
Well, it was interesting, and I thought, you know what? Are we a force for good in the world, or are we a force for evil?
You mean me and you?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because there were some people saying you ruined it for me.
Oh no.
Like this thought was good.
Oh no!
Like I'd never been serenaded, but I always kind of fantasized.
And now we've ruined people's love lives.
We've been hating on it for so long with so much fervor that it's a little bit like now I can't look at it the same.
Oh, we're bringing bad negativity into the world,
which is fine. I think then find another podcast that loves serenading and balance it out. I will not relent. I will continue to judge. And yes, is Grant being hot help?
Sure, big time.
Being a smoke helps delivering anything.
True.
Right?
Pretty privilege.
Pretty privilege. So Grant has pretty privilege and he's talented.
Yeah.
Now, is he like incredible record deal? Maybe not. But like for a serenader, which is generally not bestowed by a record deal type person, I will say we'll take it, right? But to those who we have destroyed hope, I am sorry.
I would like to apologize.
I will not change. So it's one of those.
You know what? This is what I'll say. I am so sorry to dash anyone's hopes, dreams, romantic energies. We cannot change our thoughts and opinions, but you do you.
It would be disingenuous if we changed our opinions.
You know what I mean? You do you. Enjoy what you're going to enjoy.
Yes.
Just because we don't like a serenade doesn't mean that you don't have to adore being looked into the eyes and having someone hold your hands and sing to you for hours.
Love it.
And you know what?
And I love that.
Maybe one day I'll change. I'm getting turned on by your bongo serenades.
Yeah.
So maybe one day I'll be
you see what those hands can do.
Oh my God.
Yo, good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to be here.
That was not what I was.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the serenade is more about the innuendo, less about the actual talent. It's the innuendo of different talents.
Anyway.
Good morning, everyone.
You know what I did have to note, though? There was a moment during Carolina and Grant's date when they're on the private jet and he randomly starts freestyling it wasn't good.
Which proves
to me that he absolutely, those songs were written previously. I don't doubt that he wrote the songs himself, but he's sitting in there working on them.
Let's not say we wrote them on the spot.
Let's not say we wrote them on the spot or that we wrote it on the way over in the limo, okay? Because we heard the freestyle that lasted for 2 lines and it was not great in the plane.
Yes.
So proof is in the pudding.
I did not even think about how bad it was. It was
bad.
Like, gonna get on the plane, feeling good. Woo, woo. And he's like, shit. And then she did a better job than him.
And she called him out for it. She was like, yeah, mine was kind of better.
Yeah. One slight note also regarding is people not liking if it's their move. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's something they do versus like I never do this, but like I kind of wanted to sing for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But if it's like I never do this, but 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 song that I practice a million times.
The thing is though, can you hold back an artist from that being their
also,
move? If you're an artist,
has to be
it just
a move.
flows out of your spirit, right?
No one ever just does that for the first time. You know, that's very rare. It's like usually you practiced and you work on
But that's what would make it special.
Right.
Or all of a sudden. You know what I think is really, really romantic and sexy is someone just playing an instrument. If you remove the singing, if someone all of a sudden plays the piano, whoa.
That's beautiful. And they play some like beautiful piece.
Like a classical piece or someone like busts out a cello. I'm on the ground. I'm dead.
Cello, no. Cello's basically a bass.
It's beautiful.
No, but it's like sitting there and doing it. Maybe. Piano's so much more.
I'd come behind and ghost him like ceramic Saba with the cello.
Cello's crazy. Of all the instruments you could have picked, cello is just so random. Maybe. But like maybe if you're in a castle somewhere, but like it's more casual, like the casual instrument, like the piano is the perfect one. You sit down and they're like, oh, does he play? I don't
know if that one would
you know what I mean? Anyway.
Anywho, thank you, family, for your input. Now I'm going to be thinking about the looking into the eyes because that actually is a massive factor. Mm-hmm. And, you know, shout out to anyone who we ruined your take on serenading. Apologies, but you know, we can't help who we are. Exactly. We cannot help who we are. We're talking about the 3rd episode of Grant's Bachelor season today. Had some drama go down. Mm-hmm. Also had quite a bit of drama that I have some massive question marks about that we need to discuss. A lot of question marks. I have a lot of question marks. Everyone was sobbing in this episode, and I feel as if we were missing massive pieces. I'm like, why is everyone crying this hard? Are we all this stressed out and emotional? Which is a possibility with the stress of filming. Or are there pieces that we're not getting? And that's kind of what it feels like.
I love that.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Let's get into it.
But first, we're going to take a quick pause, family. Listen, if I was Grant or these ladies' wardrobe stylist, I know exactly where I'd be suggesting they get their clothing from. And it's the same place where I get so many of my pieces from, my absolute obsession, the place where I can get luxury pieces and essentials at an affordable price. You know I'm talking about Quince. Oh my goodness, when I first found Quince, I was like, what in the fashion best dream ever is this place? You have to go on their website and see for yourself and drool and scroll. Quince offers a range of high quality items at prices within reach. Hear me when I say, okay, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Yes. Can you believe this? I'm talking items like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. Yes, I said that correctly. I have a few. They are a dream and also always in style, which I love. Washable silk tops and dresses, organic cotton sweaters, 14 karat gold jewelry, and so much more. P.S. Quince is always my go-to for pants. The European linen pant, the cut that they offer, so chic, so luxurious. I feel like I'm in Europe somewhere on a dreamy vacation where they wear that. When I wear them, I'm obsessed. Yeah, like Jess said, you need to check out their website. You'll be wowed. There is no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. I recently got one of their hooded parkas, and the quality is incredible. The comfort, it looks really good too. So cute on you. And again, the affordable pricing is huge. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with the factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Quince is the go-to place I recommend when people ask me about fashion. An incredible variety and selection, timeless, chic, quality, and affordable. It is the fashion holy grail, people, okay? So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/momdad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/momdad to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/momdad. Okay. 1 second before we officially start this recap. 2 things we have to discuss. Number 1, the bad news first. They made an announcement in a bunch of articles online that The Bachelorette is being put on pause.
What is that? Why?
I guess we're just not going to get one this year.
That's insane.
I know. We are getting Bachelor in Paradise, which we didn't last year.
Yes.
So I'm grateful
really
for
nice.
that. And we do love Bachelor in Paradise.
It's been a while.
And it's been a while. And so they're going to have a lot of people to pull from, a lot of drama to get going on the beach. But I'm like,
crazy.
devoed. It's on pause. I'm wondering, maybe that's why, by the way, they've been able to afford these like famous songs on this season.
They're like, well, we're not doing the second show, so we'll use the budget for some of these songs.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I don't know if it's a numbers thing or if they're holding off and pulling for a big Bachelorette next.
Oh.
To kind of
like a pseudo celebrity?
Maybe a pseudo celebrity, but I'm more thinking, someone who maybe recently got single in the Bachelor world that people are interested in maybe
someone
seeing
from the history books.
Yeah, that people that have big follower numbers, that have been on the show before, that people would love to see on the show, like going maybe back a little bit in Bachelor history, not too far, but back a little bit in Bachelor history and seeing if they can get someone so that we have a Bachelor that's going to pull big numbers because people are already invested in this person. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I hope it doesn't go away entirely.
Yeah.
Because nothing brings me more joy than the cast bio episode with the men so that we can rag on all the men.
It's one of the great pleasures of my life.
It's one of my favorite is ragging on the guys during the cast bios. I just want to destroy all the men.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay.
In better news.
Yes.
In better reality TV news. Love is Blind, the next season, which you know how much we love Love is Blind, the next season starts on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But here's the thing, family. We are currently covering The Bachelor and Traitors. So we are not going to start our Love is Blind recaps when they're starting. We're finishing up Traitors and obviously continuing with Grant's season of The Bachelor. Yeah. So I know a lot of you, obviously I get it, want it in the moment while it's happening. But what we're going to do is we're going to finish up Traitors. And I think that's done pretty soon. Yeah. We're getting towards the end of Traitors, I believe. But after Traitors is done, your father and I here are going to jump right into that season of Love is Blind. We promise we're not going to be looking online at all. We're not going to get any spoilers. So we are going to go into Love is Blind when all of you already know what went down. We're going to be like, probably saying the craziest off things and we'll see what our predictions look like, all of this. And honestly, with Bachelorette gone, part of me is like, you know what, let's try to elongate.
Let's soak up the enjoyments. Let's
elongate these reality TV shows instead of just binging all of them. It's like, okay, we're going to take our time with Traitors, finish that up, and then we'll take our time with Love is Blind, do that whole thing. And, so we might not be right on time, but we're going to do it.
We're going to do it 100%.
We cannot miss Love is Blind.
Oh my God, no.
It's, I think, my favorite maybe to recap.
It's absolute canon, as the kids say.
I don't think the kids don't say
Sorry.
canon. I think that's more of a D&D energy.
Oh, got it. It's absolute lore and canon.
Yeah, you've been hearing me watch my D&D podcast in the background, and you're hearing canon constantly.
Canon.
Okay, so that's that. And also, family, tune in on Monday for our Traitors recap of 2 episodes, last week and this week's episode of Traitors. And then, of course, on Wednesday for Grant's episode.
Yes.
Okay. Should we get into this?
Yes.
Let's get into this. So today's episode, we find out Jesse comes in. Side note, does Jesse seem sad to you?
Yeah, something's going on.
Something's going on with Jesse.
He's not really, because I know what's going on.
What?
He's got no one to golf with. He normally has, he misses The Bachelor. Because he normally
all the guys to
has
golf
like
with.
kind of the boys. He's a guy's guy.
Don't you think that Grant? Well, I guess Grant's a basketball guy, and so maybe Jesse Palmer, maybe the knees aren't popping off so well anymore. He's going to keep it to golf or tennis to protect the knees.
So he's kind of like, Grant's not my hobby guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't share the same hobbies. A little devastated there. He found out about the Bachelor being canceled. So he's like, where's all my golf bros?
Yeah.
Where's my, how am I going to be a mentor?
True. There's just a sadness
There's
energy
something going on there. Him and his wife are fighting, maybe.
Oh, don't say that. How's that?
You never know. Well, he's also worked, 2 hours this whole week, so he did the like, hey guys, welcome. And then he did the ceremony.
But shouldn't that bring joy? Shouldn't that spark joy?
Yeah, something's going on. You're right.
Something's going on. There was just something. He comes in so serious. He's like,
hey guys.
Hey ladies, I'm really, I'm impressed by how you've been handling everything. And just so you know, there's going to be 1 group date and 2 one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Sadness.
You seem like take a drink. Okay.
He goes to the bar cart
Yeah.
and throws back a whiskey.
Yeah, just usually at 9 a.m.
Well, he lets them know there's going to be, like I said, 1 group date and 2 one-on-ones. They find out the group date's going to be Natalie, Bailey, Alex, Allie Jo, Chloe, Serafina, Dina, Parisa, Rose, Zoe, Litia, and Juliana, which means the one-on-one is going to be with Beverly and then one with Carolina. Now, skipping ahead, Beverly apparently got sick and had to leave the show, like sick enough that she had to leave.
I looked it up.
Yeah, what's going on
the
with
rumor,
her?
or
Okay.
like what the thought is. Apparently, the concept is that something happened to her during the basketball game. And she was out of breath and she was having to be like, the medical team was having to check in on her.
Oh,
so she
no.
sustained something there and then it kind of didn't go away.
Oh my gosh, I hope she's okay.
And then she had to leave. So yeah, something
well,
like that.
Well, Beverly, sending you all of our best wishes.
It was crazy how they did it too. They're like, oh, by the way, she's not returning. Anyway, so it was just kind of like, wait, what?
wrote down,
it was
I was
so like fast and like they gave no mention to it.
No mention. And we had seen her enough the past 2 episodes to like engage with Beverly.
Right.
Also, sorry, the ladies were like, didn't seem concerned.
Well, they
I was
were
like,
stoked. They were like one
I was
down.
like, can anybody have a little bit of empathy here and be like, man, I'm really, really bummed for Beverly. Is she okay?
No.
Everyone's like, great. The one-on-one could be me now. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
this
like,
is brutal.
Anybody else we can get out?
Honestly. But Beverly, sending you our best wishes.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing okay. So the group date is going to be looking for a man in finance.
6'5".
He's a day trader. And so we're going to have a finance date. And I would like to ask you, Evan, as someone who graduated with a degree in finance,
yes,
and has apparently used it a lot since.
Yeah, it's been my daily
in your music career.
Yeah, great. Glad.
What do you think would have been the best type of date if you're doing a finance date? Because this date did not actually. Okay. Number 1, how dare you? Because Hannah Berner is literally my god.
No, but she even knew it. She's like, I don't even know why I'm here.
But she's
like, they included me in the finance date. Like, what does this have to do with anything? It wasn't a comedy date. It wasn't a podcast date.
I'm going to talk about Hannah Berner. I'm going to talk about Hannah Berner in a second and my obsession with her. But what would you have done for a finance date?
For a finance date?
Yeah.
That's interesting. They could have done like, I felt like they could have done like a banker date. Or like you got to be a teller at the end, like they got to do some sort of thing where they walk up and like or like they got to manage a bunch of money. I don't know. They stress something stressful and kind of fun. So they're like, hurry, we got to do this thing.
Like literally just put them in a Wells Fargo and be like, try to handle real people's money.
And say, I want my trust fund now. And then you got to deal with that guy and he's freaking out. I'm going to call my lawyers. You know what I mean? Like kind of a realistic.
Do like a bank robbery scenario.
Like, sir, your checks have bounced. I'm so sorry. This is bullshit.
A bank robbery scenario?
See, now we're talking. Half the girls got to rob the bank. Yeah. Half the other girls have to be in the bank. See, this is what we're talking about. And then, so it's like you got to press the emergency.
They could have made it like,
and they got to put like clown masks on them,
like Joker style. Yeah. We just watched Batman the other day. Yeah, but so it could have been almost like an escape room date when they're in the giant vault.
Yes.
You got to figure out all the
gas is leaking into the vault.
They're all robbers.
Yes.
And they get stuck in the vault and they need to figure out how to get out of the vault because we're going to distribute the funds to the people of America because fuck the billionaires. You know what I'm saying? So then we can also have like that.
So they're like vigilante.
Yes.
But see, like
distribute the wealth.
But you could have done something interesting like a bank robbery. That would have been very cool. But instead it was just like, how much you going to spend spend on your lawn? They're like, I don't know, 2,000. It's like, what the hell, you guys?
Okay, I need to say something because we have the two guests that show up. Well, Grant, by the way, is like, this is a pivotal moment. This is a pivotal moment for our relationship because finances will matter. Yeah. And that was a little moment for me where I was like, oh, dang, is Grant the don't you be spending my money vibe? Or is it like we gotta both have job? Like, what was he saying with I
that?
saw him do a little like red flag, green flag, beige flag with like Cosmo or something like that. And one of his red flags is if someone like doesn't have a 401k. So this matters to him. Like, he wants people to be, conscious, prepared, 401ks, maybe invest in some stocks. So like, you want to turn Grant on, be like, hey, I heard that the NASDAQ, whatever, I don't know anything about finance. I heard that the index is up.
You're like, I don't know anything about a NASDAQ, but I know something about a NASDAQ. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
It's very good.
That's what you could have said.
That's a great pickup line if you're walking into Wall Street and you're trying to get some finance, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
gross. Anyway, so they have two guests. Yeah. They have Daniel, who I didn't get his last name, but he's like a Shark Tank guy. Yeah. Started Kind Bars. So
I know Kind Bars.
Do you know Kind Bars? So sorry, Daniel. I don't know why you were here because I don't think you said anything. And I think Daniel thought... I think Daniel thought this was actually going to be a finance date. Yeah. Like, genuinely.
As Zoe did. Like, they both were on the same... Like, right?
Yeah. Daniel and Zoe were vibing. Yeah. They're like, I thought this was like a serious conversation about funds. But then Hannah Berner shows up and I just... Like, family...
Yeah, she's so funny.
Hannah Berner, I'm obsessed with Hannah Berner.
She's fantastic.
She came on the podcast years ago. She is also like the nicest, most charming, lovely, warm person ever. And her walking in and being like, I just have a power suit on, so I don't know what else. And so then when the game starts, everyone's in their power suits and they're asking questions like, has your credit card ever gotten declined or whatever? And what I was obsessed with is that Hannah took over and was just giving the Grant bucks to the people whose answers she
she's like, I don't know anything about finance, but I just like giving these girls money.
But it was like, Bailey figured it out. So they have these Grant bucks, which I hope he sells these or does something with them, where if you get these Grant bucks, the person who gets the most gets to spend them on something later in the date. Interesting, strange concept that they're getting experimental. Getting experimental.
Yeah, that whiteboard was not full of ideas. There was like two, and they're like, oh, fuck it, go with the finance one. They're like, basketball again? And they're like, no. What about a finance one? I don't know.
Sure.
Answer some questions in a bank.
But Bailey figured it out because Bailey's like, I gotta get Hannah to laugh because Hannah is just giving the bucks to the people that she thinks are funny.
Right. And you know what's so funny about that? It's actually not that funny, but I was thinking about this. Was like, the first couple questions, I was like, what are you guys doing?
What do you mean?
Like, they're just answering straight up. And I'm like, guys, don't you understand what this game is?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
you're falling into the trap of like, I gotta actually shoot the most points.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just writing down real answers. And Bailey's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, Bailey immediately got it. She was saying funny shit and everybody's laughing. She created the moment.
Bailey made me laugh so hard when I don't know what the question was, but Hannah asked a question.
Assets.
I know
what you're talking about.
No, she asked a question and Bailey wrote on her whiteboard, give me the fucking money. Right. And she did this to Hannah and she goes, this is a stick up.
Right.
And that was so
Personality.
Funny. She's charming. Personality.
She's and the one that was just like, describe assets. And she's just like, my body, tea. Like, it was so funny. And like, she created, but then also I was kind of shocked by the wedding ring one.
Evan, I would like to discuss this. What has happened since you and I got married?
Bro!
$20,000 was like the minimum?
$20,000
for a wedding ring?
Well, I'm also like, okay, if you're rich, I guess.
I know we got married 100 years ago, but I was like,
I spent like 27, I think.
That was like $20,000.
Dude, that is psycho.
That's so much money.
And then, what's her name was even crazier.
Dina was like 3 months.
Dina?
Dina said 3 months salary plus my salary.
So basically saying everything I make in a year plus 3 months of his.
And she's an attorney.
Yeah, so she's saying
that's like
at least $150,000 is what she's probably saying.
For a ring?
And she wasn't laughing.
No.
Like, this was like specific. She had like written this out like I thought about this.
Yes.
Dude, I'm so happy I'm not single. Because that sounds like insane. But I didn't. But that was something I didn't like. I guess what my point is I didn't like. That felt like a obviously silly question that you could have fun with. But
yes.
Everyone going literal numbers.
No, I hear you.
For me, was kind of like, am I missing something here?
I hear you.
You guys are answering actual numbers that are like kind of nuts. I don't know. I guess to me, it was like I don't know. It just kind of bummed me out.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, guys, be fun about this. Be like, how much does it cost? It's like, I don't need a ring if I got that ass, babe, to Grant or something. You know what I mean? If like something funny,
something playful.
But just be like, 17 to 23,000 works for me.
Well,
it's like,
I wanted to comment.
This is weird.
I wanted to comment because the game felt so tight.
It was so weird.
The second that Hannah came out and right away said, hey, I don't know why they brought me on this date, no one laughed.
No.
And I'm like, everything that comes out of Hannah Berner's mouth makes me giggle. And if she's in front of us, also she's famous too. So I'm like, I was surprised that people didn't have more of a reaction. They're dead silent. She rolls out the power suits, silence. And I'm like, no one's giggling with Hannah right now. This is wild.
I kind of feel, this is kind of mean, but I kind of feel like there's only a handful of people here with a sense of humor.
Perhaps.
And there's a decent amount who don't.
Perhaps you're right.
Like,
and
like the Baileys,
and
the Rebeccas, you know what I mean? Like they laugh, they're funny, they have senses of humor. There's a couple of them in there that like have a zero sense of humor. And it's just like.
And not to jump ahead, but we lost Bailey.
I know. So it's just, and I hate to say this, Grant, I don't think a big sense of humor either.
I know he's talking about being silly, but you know what's really okay? Grant is
like Chubby Bunny was like the highlight of comedy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, if that's to you unbelievably funny, then it's a little bit like,
you know what's weirding me out though?
Like I don't Three Stooges vibes.
I don't know what's going on, but it's like sometimes like the curse of being the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, because it's such high pressure. But during Jen's season, Grant was like way more loose and charming, and I think maybe the stress.
I always forgive the lead for not being really funny because they generally are kind of like more solid. But when it comes to contestants,
Carissa's a kick too.
No,
She's
there are
fun.
some that are funny, but I'm just saying like there are some that are very not funny and don't seem to like get the joke at all. And be like, let's make this a fun experience. They're real tight.
Some people aren't super funny.
Interesting.
Okay. Obviously more to say about this date, but we need to take one more quick pause. Okay, so these gorgeous ladies obviously have stunning hair, yes, but let's talk about my hair for a second.
It looks incredible.
Okay, thank you, my love. So true story, a couple days ago, I went to get my hair cut. Nothing, I just got some long layers put in it, but I hadn't been to my hairstylist in, I don't know, maybe 8-9 months. So he hadn't seen me in a long time. The second I sat down, he was like, oh my gosh, your hair has grown so much. True story, first thing he says to me is he goes, have you been taking Nutrafol?
Whoa.
And I'm like, I have indeed. And he's like, I got a bunch of clients who over the past couple years take Nutrafol and the results are incredible.
That's insane.
And so I'm like, yes, the hair growth is happening because of Nutrafol, honey. So yeah, I had heard for years from friends and family about Nutrafol and how happy they were with the results, but obviously I had to try it for myself. So about a year ago, I decided to start using Nutrafol, and I am so glad I did. Over this year, my hair has grown so much. It's thicker, it's healthier and shinier, way less shedding. Also, I am absolutely thrilled. Nutrafol is the real deal, people, okay? Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
Yeah, hair thinning is a very common and very frustrating problem that many deal with. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. Luckily, Nutrafol is here to help. It's physician formulated from 100% drug-free ingredients. And again, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. And here's the thing. Thinning hair is different for everyone, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you can get just what you need.
And with Nutrafol, building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries, and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults, and a Headspace meditation membership is included. We love Headspace. This is amazing. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code MOMDAD. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists, including my hairstylist, recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code MOMDAD. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code MOMDAD. Okay, so back to this finance date. I do want to mention the most risque purchase question. Oh, first of all, the question about has anyone's credit card ever declined, and everyone said never except for one person. I'm like, if that's true, that's wild. I mean, the amount of times that my credit card has declined.
Well, also it'd be just funny. Like it'd be like it's not funny answer to say never.
I would
say
like
said, yesterday.
I would have said like, every time,
right? Something
but also,
like that.
I'd be a little nervous because is Grant gonna know I'm joking? Because he does seem a little serious, like you mentioned. Serious. I'm like, I don't know if I'm in that room, if I know him well enough, or he knows me well enough to know that I'm pulling his leg.
Well, and that's a little bit where I feel like Bailey being what I would have loved.
I know.
Kind of missing him.
That would have been your girl, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she's funny and gets them, she kind of creates the moment, and it doesn't seem to be like, I think they connect comedically, but I think she's kind of performing and he's kind of like enjoying it, but it's not like it's really getting him.
Even hopping ahead to when they had their little one-on-one time, which we'll talk about in a second, but when they had their one-on-one time, I was like, when she was being, and the music that they were playing was kind of like, oh, she's just keeping it surface level and playful, and he's like, I want to go deep. Maybe this is just my opinion, but for me, when I'm just starting to know someone, I would have loved that. I'm like, we're keeping it fun and playful.
Yes.
We'll get deep in a week. We'll get deep.
People are so, they want to get so deep. So it's like, I don't even know you.
They want to get heavy so fast.
I don't even know at all. And you're just like, we're all crying. And it's just like, can we like,
I would have loved.
Because day to day isn't like sad shit all the time. It's like day to day is like,
can be, but
I'm just day to day is like,
it's both.
You have an hour, you're like a good coffee chat real quick, joke about something. You got to know if you just have the flow first off.
I'm like, I would have loved to have that sit down with Bailey, and she's just being
like,
playful and funny, and we just have like a deep breath from the stressful experience.
Maybe we're just like funny shit more than most people, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that sounds like we're not like other girls' energy. That's not true.
That's true. Sorry.
But shout out to my girl Alex, who when they said most risque purchase, said a plug. Grant was like, turned around, he was like, oh, what?
Yeah, she went for it.
I love her.
I love her
she
so
is
much.
Such a doll.
She's
and then
so
for her to
funny.
pull out the plug,
dude,
I'm like, we got layers to Alex, and I want to know more.
God,
I want to know more.
That was amazing.
And then Hannah puts them in one of those money boxes where the money's flying everywhere. The last time I've seen one was actually at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
When a kid has a birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, they put the birthday kid in one of those. And it's feels so weird.
It feels insane. Like, get all your money.
It's just like capitalism from the get.
It's literally just greed. It's called the greed tank.
It's the greed box, and the kids are just getting their throwing cash, like Chuck E. Cheese bucks, Charles Entertainment cheese bucks at the kids. Okay, so Bailey, though, ends up winning the most bucks because her and Hannah connect. Mm-hmm. She crushes the money box thing, and Hannah gives her all the cash. Uh-huh. So then during the night portion, they're all sitting there, and some guy comes out, and he's like, Miss Bailey, your menu for the evening.
Right.
And I've been reading too many fantasy books, but I thought he was going to say something like he was on the menu.
Right.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but some of the girls gave him eyes. Did you notice this?
The guy.
Yes.
Well, he walked in and they go, hey.
Yes, I know. And I noticed, sorry, Juliana, hey, shout out, you're not taken. Juliana did a full head to toe.
There was kind of like, if this whole Grant
hi.
doesn't work out, we should hit up this like menu guy.
That's why then all of a sudden I was like,
he was a little too hot to be the menu guy.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, that's why I thought he was going to be like, well, and I'm on the menu this evening.
They should have brought like some old butler out or something. You know what I mean? Like, but he was too hot. He was a handsome guy. Yeah.
I
I definitely clocked like multiple. Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
Like I heard it.
The women were a little bit like flustered.
They're like, you'll do for now. Boy toy, get in here.
But this was a weird element.
So weird.
I'm like, I don't know what the show's doing, but on this menu, they had a few options where she would pay her cash for what she wanted. One of them being like a private dance with Grant, which I'm like, again, maybe my mind's in the gutter right now, but I'm like, damn, like this stuff feels intense.
Right.
But then one of them also was one of Grant's shirts to sleep in for $8,000. That felt really weird. It just felt like, yeah, give me one of his shirts that I can smell.
His underwear was on the menu. No, just kidding. But no, yeah, it did have kind of like and I think Bailey was awkward with it too. Like she made it fun.
She made it as fun as possible. But I think she was
kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of weird for all of us.
What am I supposed to, yeah.
I feel with Bailey and Grant, friend vibes, for sure. But I'm really not seeing any chemistry there, unfortunately. I feel like she
got cut, honey.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, before that, it was like, that was kind of, because, people get cut all the time, and I see chemistry there, and I go, oh, they got cut. Sure. But I kind of really did see, like, she's super fun and cool. He's a great guy, but like, they really didn't have, like, it was palpable how zero romantic connection was there.
By the way, speaking of someone getting cut, I don't know details about this, so apologies in advance, but I saw briefly on like, Bachelor news stuff that Alicia is being connected. Like rumors are happening that her and Devin might be connected. The devil Devin.
Wow.
Which please this man with all of his background. And again, the show never fucking addressed this, which is dangerous and terrible.
Yeah.
But that's being floated around. And then also something about her, like a comment that she made that people like really liked her night one. And they're like, how did you get cut? And she's like, oh, just wait till the women tell all. And I'm like, what is happening that we don't know about?
I don't know.
And again, with all the crying, I'm like, something's weird. Something is weird. Something is off.
Yeah, something happened and they're not showing it.
Something's going on. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but something's going on. So yeah, Bailey has the date with Grant, like you said. She's so cute. She puts the t-shirt on and runs in. She's adorable. I love her. I'm devastated that she's gone. She better be on that damn beach.
She would be fantastic.
She'd be fantastic on the beach. Yes. If I was an available single, I'd be clamoring to get to Bailey. Then Parisa and Grant they played Chubby Bunny.
They should take that on tour. It's so funny.
Don't be a dick.
So funny to do that. It's like, you guys. Listen, I thought
it was a cute idea.
I thought it's a cute idea.
Yeah.
But like they were talking about it after, like.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he was like, it's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I was kind of like.
He was like, I've never laughed harder in my life.
I guess we all find our matches when it comes to that kind of stuff.
But Parisa is adorable.
She is adorable.
She is a quirky queen with her rocks.
Yes.
And her hunting for like tarantulas.
Yeah.
And her talking about her dreams. Like she's a quirky,
she's a little bit unexpected.
She is unexpected.
Because she doesn't look. And to be honest with you, even just when she just talks.
Yeah, her presence.
She doesn't give off a playful presence. She's kind of serious.
Yeah.
But then all her actions are kind of quirky. Yeah. Like hunting for spiders and doing Chubby Bunny. So it provided more depth to her, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And
she's adorable. I really like her a lot. I will say though, every time someone plays Chubby Bunny,
it scares me.
Dangerous. I do
really scares me.
Do not recommend. I've choked once playing Chubby Bunny.
Dude, and then you have to talk, and then it's like melting.
It is. By the way,
don't play Chubby Bunny.
Nothing could be more of our 80s childhood than being like a bunch of adults telling a bunch of 8-year-old kids to shove their mouths full of these
don't
things.
Die.
By the way, these things that expand.
Yes.
And try to talk and don't choke.
Yes. Crazy.
It's insane.
It's like. Swallow a bunch of Legos and see what happens. It's like, what are you talking about?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
It's dangerous. Do not attempt at home. Okay, so while this is all happening, we have Zoe.
Yeah.
Now, last week, we had a Zoe who was very much like, I'm going to steal Grant when I want to. When the ladies confront me, I'm going to be like, I don't care if you take him. And then when they confront her later, she's not saying a word. She's keeping it together. They're talking about her. She's not reacting. Well, this week was a different story.
Yeah.
So all the ladies had fun at that finance date, apparently. And she then was like, it was not fun for me.
Right.
And she starts crying. And she's like, I felt really out of place.
Right. I
didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't quite like get what was going on. The game was confusing to me.
Well, it was more just kind of like I was answering them correctly.
That's what I was saying.
And I wasn't
it was
getting
like,
any love. What's happening?
Right.
Right.
And she starts crying.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, you know, I would say most of the women came around and supported her, which I loved to see. Allie Jo was not pleased. Serafina was not pleased. And they were like, she's making it about her. Da 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 da. What were your thoughts on Zoe's reaction during this?
You know what? You know, Zoe is a little, to me, is just a little bit of a mystery when it comes to like, I feel like she's a little bit out of her depth in this world. I think this world requires you to be kind of reality TV show tough, but also kind of be able to like turn it on and turn it off. There's a little bit of an actor energy you need. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to be able to kind of know your spots, when to shine, when to not shine, when to be mean, when to whatever. And I feel like she's a pretty serious person.
Yeah.
Like she's just kind of like, she is who she is. And there's not a lot of like humor elements there. She's not getting the dynamics of this whole experience personally. So I think in the beginning she had a game plan. It was like steal the guy. Mm-hmm. If anyone gives you shit, don't back down. But now she's kind of realizing she's struggling with the whole like dynamic part of it, where it's like, I gotta have fun with this, and you know, I answered the questions correctly and I'm not getting rewarded. Like, I think this is like an insecurity thing of her crying, of like, I don't know, I'm a little bit fish out of water here. So I sympathize with her big time when it comes to feeling insecure about like how you can perform in this situation. Yeah. Like certain people do really well and certain people struggle. It's just always how it is. But I also kind of sympathize with, it's like, if you're going to be the tough one, if you're going to be the ball buster, the one who like comes in and goes, stay out of my way, and I'll you know, it's all fair in love and war, then don't cry sympathy when you don't do well on a date. So I understand both sides of the coin there.
Yeah.
But it's more, not I understand as in like I would feel that way, more like I understand if her being the way she was earlier, rattling you, you're going to be rattled when she then is the crying one.
I completely agree with you. I felt both sides, because I was like, yeah, I can understand if I'm in that situation. I'm frustrated because it's like last week you weren't having any empathy with us, and now you're saying that you were struggling and you're crying and da 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 da. But I did also like, I felt for her.
I know, I felt bad for her.
Because I felt for her. I'm like, if I'm in a situation, like I know we were saying earlier, it's like, why weren't you guys being funny? But it's like, if you don't have maybe those answers like right off the dome and you are taking this seriously, like it really did feel to me like she felt like she wasn't included. And I feel like she kind of feels that overall. I'm getting the energy that that's something that she struggled with just in a lot of her life. Because even when she has conversations with Grant where she's like, I've always been like closed off. I've used like, you know, my education, my smarts, all this stuff to kind of guard myself. Like she just hits me as somebody who maybe struggles feeling like she has a community.
Agreed.
And her defense mechanism is like maybe pushing people away. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of felt for her.
I felt bad for her in the way that like, I felt she's a little different.
Yeah.
And a little on her own.
Yeah.
And so I think she didn't help herself by the way she started the game.
No, and I can understand that.
And I also felt like some of the other women were a little too sensitive.
Yeah.
Like where it's like she stole him and then they were like mad about it. It's like that is the game. Right? Like when you think about Zoe never once has gone after anybody. It was the other girls that went after her for her stealing him.
Now, the only tiny caveat is I'm like, and I don't necessarily feel this way, so sorry if this isn't the case, but the only caveat that sticks out of my mind is she was such a fierce game player.
Yeah.
Last episode, I'm like, is this a way to hook Grant?
Okay, like an emotional play.
I'm struggling.
Sure.
And we're pulling him in. Because then she mentioned to Grant, and we'll talk about it, the dress comment, that she's feeling like the girls, or maybe there's some people who are making her feel bad. is that I don't think so, but there might be a dynamic where it's like, well, I'm seeing emotional play working for some of the other women, so maybe.
I don't know. I could feel that with other people, but to be honest with you, I'm not getting that energy.
I'm not getting it from her either.
I'm getting it kind of that she's like just kind of out of her element, and she's feeling.
Yeah. The other thing that made me not think that she was maybe playing a game so much is the fact that she didn't give Serafina's name out to Grant.
Exactly.
She didn't tell him. Okay, so what ends up happening is Serafina, Allie Jo are not stoked on Zoe having an emotional moment. And Zoe's at the bar talking to the bartender, and then Serafina says, "That's the shortest dress I've ever seen."
That was some like high school shit right there. I was like, ooh, I did not like that.
I did not like that. And also I want to mention that later in the episode, during the cocktail party, we see Rose walking around and we hear Serafina say, "Rose is just like the most interesting person to look at."
What does that mean?
And I'm like, what does that mean? That didn't sound. And then Bailey is like, "Oh, she's so beautiful," right?
Right. She kind of, I could look at her forever. She's so pretty.
But like, just to say you're the most interesting person to look at.
Serafina is not giving great vibes.
I'm not getting great vibes from Serafina. Sorry if you didn't.
And I hate to be a dick,
Serafina.
but I'm getting maybe that she's like not feeling super confident in their relationship. So she's doing the thing where it's like, take them down with me.
To make a comment about how short a dress is, I was like, that was just really unnecessary and not kind. And, you know, Zoe last week heard them talking shit on her, and then she's struggling, and then hears Serafina say that. I didn't blame Zoe for being upset.
Oh, no. 100%. Like, in my opinion,
I'm already feeling separated from the group, and then I hear that, I'm going to feel 10 times more separated from the group.
I totally understand Zoe being not maybe just like the other girls, and there's a little bit of like we don't get you energy. So I understand
she's
that,
a
like,
tech engineer. She's
right,
super analytical.
but I understand not being like, just not having a personality that melds well with the group, right? So then 100%. You're not going to have allies.
And making some bad calls.
Making some bad calls, and also not having allies. So I understand not someone like standing up for you. I understand someone not going out of their way to be best friends with you. I totally get
100%.
that. But when you're making physical comments, like, that's bully shit. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was like, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, we don't connect, and I'm not really fans of her. It's another to then be bully vibes. And I felt like that's what was happening. And so for her to like feel attacked, her to feel alone, her to then bring it up, it was one of the few times where I ever felt like, yeah, I mean, you're alone anyways.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Just say something to him.
Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you protecting at this point? They clearly don't have your back.
Yeah.
So honestly. I was a little bit like, was, you know me, I'm always a big thing, like, don't bring it up. But I was kind of like, I don't think you guys are connecting in a huge way anyways. They don't have your back. It's worth a shot.
And she ends up telling Grant, and she's like, someone made a comment about my dress being too short. I'm kind of feeling out of place. And he's like, who said it? Right. And she's like, I don't want to say. So props to her on that. She that is a removal from the drama. She could have easily said who it was. And he wants to know, but he doesn't push her. And then I thought with the way that he responded was really lovely.
Yeah, he's like, be you, like, you know,
he was
don't
like, I you know, you carry yourself in a way that people think like you're always good, and people who are like that are sometimes going to get, you know, comments thrown at them, or, you know, be the target in certain situations. 100%. And he's like, just don't ever stop being you. And he kisses her. And by the way, when he kisses her, he takes her face and pulls her in. He like did like the grab he's vibing with her. He likes her.
She is stunning.
Oh my God.
So I think that's also part of it. Too. No, but I mean, like, for the girls too.
Of course.
Where it's like, if she was kind of not as good looking.
Everyone's stunning on the cast.
No, but what I'm just saying, if she wasn't as threatening looking,
she's shocking.
I think there would be less like energy towards this. But I think the fact that she's so good looking, it adds to the like threatening element. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, interesting.
She's like
supermodel vibes.
She's like shocking.
You can tell she's super tall too.
Yeah,
so she's got, like
well, she's a model, remember? Tech engineer and model.
Right.
She's like shockingly beautiful. Right. So basically they wrap, and Grant's not happy about it.
Yeah.
He has a sit down with Juliana, of course, per usual. In Grant's sit down with Juliana,
There's no issue here with physicality, just as we're trying to connect emotionally.
What he says.
Yeah,
he's like, great. Obviously, he is holding her so close. His hand by the way, on her thigh,
he's
doing the circles around the thigh.
He's so hot for her. It's insane.
So hot
That's
for her.
number one. No question at this point. When it comes to sexual attraction, that's number one.
Sexual attraction. But I will say he hasn't given her a group date rose.
Yeah, it's because it's in the bag. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
That's in the bag. But straight up, I think Juliana right now takes the cake for romantic sexual chemistry. There's other contenders, but like when it comes to the physical element, he is head over heels.
And her smile, I mean, seems like she's getting smitten kitten with him too.
She's starting to get smitten.
I think
she even said though, it's been a long time since I even had a crush on a guy.
Yeah.
So, she's hard not to crack. It seems
like she's starting to get a little smitten kitten. Mm-hmm. He had his head back when he was talking to her. The classic move where you're like not looking at the person and you're like this.
He's losing his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't even be around you energy.
And then he's telling her, he's like, I have a crush on you. I started at the basketball game. I think you're adorable. Yeah. I mean, he is just showering her. But he does end up giving the group date to Parisa.
Yeah.
Because he said they had so much fun with Chubby Bunny. So
that was a win.
That was a win. That was a win
for her.
But he addresses everybody.
Yeah.
He says, hey, everybody, I've heard that there's people going around kind of belittling each other or someone, and we need to be kind to each other. He leaves it very vague, but is like...
Which is just, I felt bad for Zoe because it's like all you end up with is Zoe getting in trouble, basically.
Well, and because he left it vague, but also if he wouldn't have, she would have gotten in trouble too. So it's one of those things. If I was him, I wouldn't have mentioned anything.
Me neither.
I just would have had my eyes out.
And it wasn't like big. You know what I mean? It was like a thing that happened, and she kind of like said, I'm struggling because of this, and she didn't bring a name. When someone doesn't say a name, it kind of to me says they don't want you to say anything. Mm-hmm. They're just letting you know that they're feeling this way.
Okay, you're about to make their life even more hellish.
So I did feel a little bit like that was strategically not wise on her behalf.
For her. Yes. On his behalf.
Like you kind of maybe got something off your chest, Grant, but like now.
I get why he did it though, because he wanted to. I get why he did it, but it doesn't
help anybody.
Yeah.
Because you can't call anybody out like he does later.
Yeah. So the girls are like, who said it? Who said it? And Juliana was like, I know it's Zoe.
Well, Juliana goes like, let's not beat around the bush. Zoe, did you say it?
What did you say? And she's like, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah. I don't have to tell you anything.
And, they're...
That buries her deeper.
After that, too, though, they're moving away and we hear Zoe. And she's like, I don't want to... You girls are all so mean, and she's crying. So Zoe, obviously, even though we have the tough facade where she was like, I don't care last week, she's struggling.
She's spiraling.
I think she put herself in a situation where the whole house turned against her and she wasn't ready for it. And now she's feeling very alone. And her one girl, it seemed like, was Chloe and Zoe. Chloe seemed like she had Zoe's back and they were having like sweet conversations together. And now Chloe is officially gone. So now Zoe will remain alone.
Yeah.
And I worry for her.
Yeah, me too.
But what ends up happening is the next day, everyone is sobbing.
I thought they were gonna would they do the reaction and then show the cause?
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna I thought everyone was crying and then they were gonna show what happened.
Me too.
And then it was just it
was about the night before. Everyone's like dry heaving crying.
And it was like, well, first of all, what made no sense too was Alex was sobbing.
I know.
Like she had her husband of 25 years had just left.
I know. But okay.
And fled to another country with his mistress. Like she was crying.
holding her llama, her stuffed animal llama.
And I was like, she wasn't even a part of this conversation that we just watched.
Well, she was in the group, though.
Whatever. She was there.
Okay.
But she was crying like Grant had just told her, get out of this fucking show. And
it was just like, I know.
It was almost funny.
It was, everyone was crying so hard and you're like seeing them in their corners
how
crying.
Insane it was.
I was so upset. Genuinely,
I'm trying to connect with Zoe, but I was like, what is happening?
The only person that I thought it was so, and I don't mean to laugh, Alex, but I thought it made me laugh, but it was so sweet was Alex. Because Alex genuinely seems like the kindest person ever. And she was...
It's like the weight of the world hit her.
No,
everyone's emotions.
She was sobbing and she was just like, I've tried to connect with her. I want to be there for her. It was sweet. Like she was so overcome. She was so overcome by Zoe feeling left out. She's the one person I believe. The other tears...
100%.
The other tears are because everyone's like, Grant is suspect that I did something and I didn't do anything.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the Zoe kind of telling them. Now everyone's afraid of like.
Alex's tears were genuinely like her tears were like that of a goddess looking over the world, being like, I'm so sad for like the people hurting. Like she had the tears of someone. They were so genuine and real.
There's something really funny to me too when someone doesn't hide their face when they cry.
That's because you have shame.
No, I know. But she was crying up to the sky.
I know. Because she's connected with source.
There's something so almost funny to me when someone's crying and they're just going like this. Ah! You know what I mean? They're not like this. They're just like to the moon. It just really made me laugh.
Alex is some sort of goddess connection.
And it also made me laugh was because Ember kind of reminded me of Ember. Like Ember has done this thing in the past where she's crying. I'm like, why are you crying? She's just like, I don't know. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, you're just feeling.
I think she kind of reminds me of Ember in general.
Yeah,
because
she does.
Because Ember is so she is so good. Like the goodness. Sorry to be that parent, but like the goodness coming out of my child.
It's nuts.
Like she is such a pure heart and just cares so much about.
She's so emotional.
She cares so much about people. And if anyone at school has a tough day, she comes home and she like weeps and like writes them a letter and like she is just
very sensitive
overcome by people's experience. And Alex in her with those sweet eyes and that smile, like. She is so pure goodness, and she was like rocked for Zoe. She was the one person who was rocked because she hurt for Zoe.
And it just obviously it was the Zoe thing, but it was also just the experience. And
that was crazy, though. Everyone just losing it. But then we have Carolina's one-on-one.
PJ.
They give
matches her vibe because she had said earlier, like, I want the mansion I want the nice cars. I was like,
so they give her the private jet. By the way. This date was Pascal's date.
Yes. They used the same jet probably.
Same jet.
Yeah.
They went to Vegas. And then later, when the Golden guys showed up, Prom. That was a Golden Bachelorette date too.
Really recycled.
They just fully recycled from Golden Bachelorette. 2 dates in one episode that were exactly from Golden Bachelorette. Because it was just like,
what's his name who didn't go to Prom? Even that was a copy.
Yeah, Jonathan. Well,
Jonathan and Grant didn't go to Prom.
I know they didn't copy.
But I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It was like the storylines are almost identical in that moment. And then Jonathan was back. He's like, I got my second prom. Yeah, it was funny.
He passed the crown to Grant. That was sweet.
Yeah.
So they're having Pascal's date. God, I wish he would have showed up. Yeah. God, what I would have given to have a Pascal appearance in Vegas.
He would have taken 3 of the ladies with him.
He would have.
They would have left. They're like, where is? They would have been like, where's Carolina and where's Juliana? It's like with Pascal.
Genuinely, Carolina might have gone with Pascal. I think they'd be a great couple.
I completely agree.
But they don't have the pretty woman type date that Pascal had. They have to jump off the stratosphere.
She thought she was getting a pretty woman date.
100%.
She was like, I'm in the PJ. Are you kidding me?
PJ, and you're like,
I'm
going to Vegas
to jump off a building. So why?
So we could have gone to like Lake Elsinore and been skydiving.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we taking a private jet to Vegas? Yeah. Why are we going to? But 800 feet off of the stratosphere. Evan, look me in the eyes.
I would have lost it.
Look me in the eyes. They made them jump alone.
Yeah, not even like a romantic jump.
What the hell?
Like, why did they do that?
Why would they do that?
Like a promo for the building? Like
it's not even like a
bungee?
moment where you're holding each other and you're big bungee and you're jumping off together and your adrenaline is coursing through your veins together.
It was just kind of like jump off this thing and then go to dinner.
Alone.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, shout out to Carolina because she was scared. She stayed so chill the whole time.
He was way more scared than her.
But she was saying in the ITMs how nervous she was. Yeah, and she, calm, cool, collected, jumped off it and then goes, want to go again?
Oh my
Carolina, cool as shit.
Yeah, very cool.
Carolina's very cool.
Yeah.
Like she's got a cool as shit vibe for sure.
Intimidating.
She is intimidating
like
because
just too cool.
She's just like, she's got the comedic edge.
Yep.
She razzes him. Yep. She looks like a supermodel. Yep. She's just,
and she's not playing the like coy thing at all. Like she's super confident and kind of like she's like the way she's with him is just very like I see how she is with him. You know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't have. I'm not getting. She's kind of presenting a vibe.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like Juliana, a little bit. Like I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
Like it's not a. I'm not throwing shade. It's more like I just don't know her at all. Mm-hmm. She's kind of just presenting like hi. So I don't know anything about her personality, really. I really like her, but I don't really. Whereas in Carolina, I feel like I already see who she is. I'm already like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean?
Me too. Now, what I wrote in my notes.
Like even when she was like, all right, go. And she gave me like a little smooch. And he was kind of like reaching for more. And he's like, oh, she's like, all right, get in there.
What I wrote in my notes, and I find it then interesting, we can talk about it later in the episode where she's spiraling after their date.
Yeah.
I don't know if Carolina's someone who is just very guarded.
Yeah.
And we hear about it and we'll talk about it. And so she is kind of operates in a way where I'm sure tons of guys have massive crushes on her constantly, but she's a little guarded. Or if there's more of a friend vibe. She was being very friend. She was giving me that like he's super into her and she's kind of like, I like you, but we'll see. Like you're kind of giving me friend vibes.
Super interesting you say that.
The energy that
there's not a lot of like romantic sexual chemistry nailing.
No, they had like, which was crazy
because he makes it obvious when it is there,
yes.
or it's obvious when it is
but
there.
It was crazy because last episode when we had the straddle situation, it was whoa,
nuts.
Their chemistry is crazy. And then this episode, a lot of like the best friend high five handshake things, and even her vibe with him.
I don't know how into him she is.
Yes, but then we have the follow up.
But the follow up, the date, you mean?
No, I'm talking about when she starts spiraling after their date.
No, but I think you can spiral because of the kind of thing of it all.
Yeah.
Versus like you truly are into him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think insecurity and kind of jealousy can be created. We've heard people talk about how like when you're there, you're all of a sudden, you go from like don't even knowing someone to like falling in love with them. And you're like, I don't even know that, you know? So I don't know. It's interesting you bring that up because I kind of feel the same.
I wrote it down. I was like, am I getting friend vibes off of her?
Yeah.
Like that she's just not into him maybe
or
as much as he.
Is she just casual?
That's what I'm saying. I don't
really
or there's a guard up or something. But we do end up finding out more about her at the night portion. He feels like he can be goofy in front of her because she is super playful.
Yeah,
she's fun to banter with.
Big time.
But she starts crying and she talks about how Grant's loyalty with his dad has meant so much to her because she sticks around for people and she wants someone to stick around for her. And she addresses the fact that she has a disability that people can't see. She has epilepsy and started getting seizures when I think she said she was 17, and how with friendships and romantic partnerships, it's been really challenging because she's like, it's
not as simple.
They don't stick around.
Right.
And they're not there for her and she wants the loyalty, but sometimes she's like, oh, people don't stick around. They can't handle it, And I just want to say shout out to Carolina because I feel like this show does not have conversation, first of all, about disabilities in general, but also about like invisible disabilities where like don't necessarily see it and you don't know what someone's day-to-day, what they're going through, or like a chronic illness or something like that. And I love that she just was like,
went right at it.
She was so direct and she just looked at him and she goes, can you handle that?
Yeah.
Like bottom line, it's not going to be like, this is something that is who I am. I've had people run away. Are you going to be able to handle that? And,
he responds great. I mean,
I thought he was great.
100%. And he was crying.
Yeah.
So I felt like he was connected to her story. You know what I mean?
I feel like Grant's really emotionally in tune. We can talk about with Litia.
Yeah, I agree.
But he really seems to want a deep connection.
I completely agree.
He does.
I think he is serious about what he wants. And I think that he is open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he seems it seems like when some of these women really get deeper, he gets closer.
Yeah, I think he feels connected that way.
You know what I mean?
For sure. But he gives her the rose. He said, I can see myself falling for her. And she said this could be the love of my life. So maybe we're misreading her friend energy.
I don't think it's super friend energy. I think she likes him a lot. I just think that like there are some others that are like head over heels. And so sometimes against that backdrop, I think she's very serious about a husband. That's kind of the thing I think I'm thinking.
Interesting. Okay.
The vibe I'm getting is like maybe she's just a little more like I'm actually looking for the real deal here, and this isn't just a fun experience for me. So I don't know. Maybe that's kind of what I'm reading is just like she's just kind of actually serious about this.
And maybe it's surprising her how serious, like how.
And that's why maybe the next day she's bawling so hard.
Yeah.
So she's not kind of like lost in the woo of it all. She's a little bit more like I'm really qualifying you to see if this is real.
Yeah. No, I hear that. So the next day, they're Beverly, sending love and well wishes to her. They say, hey, Beverly's not going to have the one-on-one. So instead they do a 3-on-1. I'm like,
so weird.
I thought they were just going to do another group date. Like everybody gets to go.
It's like 3-on-1.
They're kind of out of pocket right now.
They're a little out of pocket.
So they do a 3-on-1 with Serafina.
I love this date.
I was going to say Serafina, Dina, and Litia. and they go to the Vanderpump Dog
Sounds
Rescue.
like a girl group, like a singing
Serafina,
group.
Dina, and Litia.
Yeah,
you're
Serafina,
right.
Dia, and Litia. Yeah.
They go to the Vanderpump Dog Rescue, which would have been Evan's most favorite date of all time.
Well, she said something that I really felt, where she's like, I love dogs more than people. And
You
I was
mean
just
LVP?
Like, yeah, and I was just like, I feel seen.
You would have loved it because you also love LVP.
I love her.
So you have a big admiration.
She's like the aunt / mom, grandma I never had. You know what I mean?
I mean, you mean like the billionaire LVP?
I don't forget the money. I'm just talking about her vibe. She's got mob boss meets dog lover, and I'm like, I could not want a paternal or maternal figure more than that. You know what I mean? I feel very drawn to her.
They dress up the dogs, they take pictures, but then LVP comes out and she's like, by the way, you guys are getting to work.
Yeah.
You're grooming these animals. You're not here just to have fun. You need to groom them. You need to take them on walks. Yes. Evan would have been fully lost. He wouldn't have engaged at all with the lead.
Anyone there.
He wouldn't have cared at all. He would have gone full dog.
Yes, I would have applied for a job there.
But he has he has some moments with Dina. He has some moments with Serafina. And then with Litia. And out of the three of them, it feels very clear that the chemistry is the most with Litia.
Yes.
He likes Litia.
Yes.
And I felt like Dina, they have a playful banter. I'm not seeing it with him and Serafina.
No.
Maybe we've missed. It looks like they've had more conversations than we've seen, so maybe there's more. But between the three, Litia definitely seems like the one that he has the most chemistry with. And then the dinner portion, it's just Litia, which is wild too. They have the 3-on-1, and then they're like, by the way, Dina, Serafina, you guys get to go back.
And there's not even like a reason why either. No. It wasn't like it won anything. It's like,
and if I'm one of those women, I'm sitting there going,
in my fucking head.
I'm like, first of all, that, yes. Like, okay, so clearly
it's not like we lost a challenge.
No,
we're just not at dinner with him.
It's like he just brought Litia. Also, I'm like, does this count as my one-on-one? Are you guys not going to give me a one-on-one now? Because it was like, oh, I got the group date and
Rattle
this.
City. I got to pet some dogs and take a picture, and now I'm just like, did I lose out on everything else?
Normally, the choice of who goes on what date, I assume, is producer play.
100%.
But in this case,
I think the dinner was him.
I feel like it's the only time I really ever believed that I'm like, they looked at Grant and said, who do you want to take to dinner? And he said Litia.
100%.
It felt kind of that way.
100%.
And I'm wondering if Litia is going to get a one-on-one or no now.
Right. There was the kind of half-on-one.
The whole thing was
what are your thoughts on
Litia? Unprecedented. Okay. So Litia and Grant, first of all, she looked insane on this date. The dress, the red on her, I was like, whoa. First episode, I wasn't necessarily like vibing. I was like, whatever. Second episode, I was interested to see what the dynamic was going to be like, because on the one hand, I liked the boundaries and what she said to him. Yeah. Then I also wasn't sure. Like, I'm like, is this her trying to kind of, I wasn't sure. Yeah. I wasn't sure. I really enjoyed her and him on this date. I feel like they have, where I see with some of the other women, there's more of like, maybe a sexual energy right now. Litia feels like when I look in Grant's eyes looking at Litia, it gives wifey energy. Like, I feel like he's pretty over the moon about her. Mm-hmm. You don't agree?
No, I think he's super into her. He even said, this could be my wife.
I think he's like...
So he's... my thoughts on him being into her, no question.
Yeah.
100%. I can't tell. I can't get a read on Litia.
Yeah.
Like, as a person.
I get that.
I can't read how she is. She's not giving a lot of tells. Mm-hmm. So she just seems kind of chill. I can't tell if she's just chill. I can't tell if she's not super into him, but she loves this whole process. Mm-hmm. I can't tell if she's just here for an experience. I can't tell if she's just someone that doesn't give away a lot emotionally, so it's hard to know. I can't get she might be the number one I can't get a read on.
Interesting. Okay,
because he likes her so much. That's what's confusing to me.
I felt that way more in the first 2 episodes, and then when they had their one-on-one, even when they were sitting down during like the dog portion, I felt like I was starting to see Litia more. And the way she's like
does she like the idea of all of this?
I don't know.
Him,
I feel
or does she like him?
I think she really likes him. The way she was like beaming at, she was like beaming at him during certain points. I don't know. I think she just may be a little more of like a serious person.
Okay.
And maybe doesn't give away as much.
Yeah.
But I think she really likes him.
This cast is really polarizing to me. Like there's a lot that really give away a ton, and then there's quite a few that give away nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a little like jarring, like how polarizing the different personalities are, because it's like, you got the Alexes, and you got Baileys, and you got these people that are like really expressive and really kind of showing you they're like what they're into and what they're not, and then you have the Dinas and the Zoe, and you're kind of like, I don't even know what's happening.
Totally. Well, during their conversation, Grant talks about his dad's addiction, and then how his dad used to say things that made it seem like it was his mom's issue. And then when he got older, he figured out that his mom was the one that was holding everything together.
Yeah.
And how much she means to him. But then he also talks about how, she wasn't super affectionate with him. And he's like, I get it. She was holding everything together.
Yeah.
But he talks about how he really like craves that affection.
Yeah.
He's like, I just can't wait to come home and get like a hug and a kiss at the end of the day. And he's like crying.
Right.
And it's another kind
he's doing live therapy right now.
Yeah, it's another repeat though of what we talked about, where I'm like, I really do think he's ready. He seems ready and
he's
open.
got therapy vibes.
He does have therapy vibes.
Does that make sense? Like he's worked through some things.
And I do also feel like the women that he is starting to really connect with, like Litia, give me therapy vibes too. Like Litia, when she comes to him and says, hey, you triggered me, she gives me therapy vibes. I think he's attracted like for many reasons to Litia.
People who have kind of done the work a little bit.
But like I think when she then basically was like, here, I've done the work and I'm letting you know, that was a big turn on for him.
Sure.
And it feels like there are people who are like, hey, I've worked on myself.
Right.
And we're now getting real with each other.
Games a little bit.
And so maybe that's why he's less like, I don't want to stay superficial. Like I want to get deep with you because like I've done the work on myself, and
and
I don't know.
Look at me. I've had so much casual sex. It's insane. I need to get serious.
Shut up. But that's when we hear more about her family, about her dad passing away when she was 3 months old, and how I thought it was so special. She talked about how her extended family made her feel so loved and supported, and how she's so grateful for like her aunts and her grandparents and all these people. And they then FaceTime. He's like, hey, let's FaceTime your mom, which was very sweet.
Cool, very thoughtful.
I can't lie to you though. I was laughing so hard because when they FaceTimed, she's sitting on Grant's lap. He's meeting the mom for the first time. His head is like shoved into her breast.
Yes.
It's like she's holding it and mom's meeting him and his head is smashed against her boobs. And he's like, it's so nice to meet you, ma'am. Like,
I know.
Mom, for the first time, she's like, so there's still other women here, right? And she's like, yeah, mom. And he's like, it's such a wonderful time I've heard so much about you. Smashed against her boob.
I'm still mystified by the Mormon thing though.
Oh, you mean about...
Like, is it cool for Mormons to be with non-Mormon? I'm so confused.
I don't know. I do think that will become an issue if she goes farther.
This whole kind of dating a bunch of other people in this kind of environment just doesn't feel very Mormon to me.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Maybe they're like chill Mormons.
I'm like, maybe it's not something
casual
that's like...
Mormons?
I don't know enough about Mormons to tell you.
I just know that they're like, it's a pretty conservative, like... lifestyle. So so even if I was just to relate it to like conservative Christians I grew up with, it's like, I don't think The Bachelor was a vibe. You know what I mean? They weren't like, yeah, this is a great show, you should go on it. It was kind of like, I don't like the fact that it's kind of dating all these other people and kissing them and making out. And it's not, it's not, protecting your, I don't know. It just doesn't scream that a Mormon person would be cool with all this.
I will stand by my statement previously, episode 1, that if she does go farther, which it feels like she is, it feels like he really likes her. Really well. I do think this will come up. I do think it will become an issue.
Yeah, at least from the family.
You know what? I'm going to predict already. Fantasy suite, next morning, we're going to have drama.
Oh, I might kind of feel like she won't do it.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I think that she's going to be like, I don't feel comfortable with this.
I don't know. But there's going to be something with her in the fantasy suite. We're going to get drama.
The drama. Okay.
We're going to get drama. If she gets that far, which I wouldn't be surprised because right now he seems like he really likes her a lot. But we shall see. All right. So back at the house while this is happening, Carolina is starting to spiral. Yeah. She is crying a ton. She is like, after this date, I really connected with him. And now the idea of him going on a date with other women is absolutely sending me. She says in front of the women, I almost wish I wouldn't have gone on this date.
Right. Which didn't bode well with the other ladies.
The women did not
like
it.
Well, you get the special treatment, and then you're acting like you didn't even want it.
And
like
it was another scenario where I get why the women are annoyed, but I also get what Carolina means.
Yeah.
As someone who romantically, I'm wired in a more guarded way.
Sure.
I am the type of person who would have that feeling where I'm almost like...
You didn't realize how much it was going to affect you.
Yeah, I'm like, I almost wish I wouldn't have gone because now I thought he was hot, but now I'm kind of invested.
Right.
And now I'm experiencing these spiral jealousy feelings.
Exactly.
And I wanted to have a control on myself. And now I feel out of control.
I thought I could handle this. Everyone thinks they can handle it and they get in there and they're like, whoa.
Yes. So the next day, instead of just a cocktail party, we get a prom, which I think is fun. It's amazing how much you can do with some balloons and a disco ball, a DJ. They were doing to the windows,
slow-mo camera shots where he's like,
walls. They bring in the Golden Bachelor men. He's like, I have guests when they're all ready for prom. They bring in Gary, Jack, Keith, and Jonathan, which, by the way, timing-wise, I don't think any of these women would know who they are.
No.
Because the overlap of filming,
right?
They're like, these are just four old guys.
Just four old guys showed up. Or maybe they knew about it, but they were
bestowing wisdom on...
And Jack's making like sexual innuendos about the burgers, being like, you gotta squeeze the juices out of it. You don't want to play with it too long.
I missed Jack.
Love him.
God, I love Jack so much. This franchise really should use him more.
Yeah, 100%.
You know how
he should be on the beach.
You know how they really used Susan as much as possible.
They need to use him more. He needs to be on the beach doing like cooking. We need to replace Wells with him. He's the barbecue guy.
Yeah.
And
Wells, you're out.
You come up to the barbecue and they're like, hey, well, here's the deal. You know, you got to move. And he's just cooking.
Can you imagine Susan and Jack behind the bar instead of Wells?
Love that.
Also more life experience.
Oh, and Jack's got some great one-liners about booze too. You could pour your drinks. He's much better hang versus Wells like judging the shit out of you and being like, well, you're just an idiot anyways. I'm like, okay, sorry, Wells.
And Wells is gonna have a chip on his shoulder because
he got whooped.
Axed from Traitors so early.
Unfortunate.
Anywho, so as they're having this prom date, a couple of the women had some, cute moments with them. Alex did the superlatives. That was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe and Grant actually had like a slow dance moment. And she was like, I'm feeling better. She didn't bring up any drama, which is, again, I feel like stuff's going to dip into next episode because the whole thing went down with Zoe. She was crying. The girls are then sobbing because they're like, why does Grant has it out for some of us because he thinks that we're belittling people.
Yeah.
And it kind of disappeared because of the drama that went down with Rose and Carolina. I believe that drama will continue into next week, where then we're going to have more drama where the women are still like, Zoe versus the women, Grant. But in this moment, Zoe just had like a sweet slow dance with him and didn't bring it up. Okay, so here's the big drama.
Yeah.
So we find out from Carolina that she is absolutely spiraling because she sat down with Rose and Carolina says that Rose told her that Grant told Rose that when Grant and Carolina were having their straddle makeout dance sesh, that Grant was thinking about Rose the entire time. Okay?
Yeah. So to make that it's like Rose told Carolina he was thinking about me when he was with you.
Thank you for simplifying that.
Yeah. Because we watched it, but if in case you aren't watching it, you could have gotten lost there. So Rose did when he was making out with you, he told me he was thinking about me.
Okay.
And it's like, what world? I can't think of a parallel universe in any iteration where that is appropriate to tell the other person that's dating him.
So, I agree with you.
Like, I'm like, forget everything. Where is that even an option? What world is that okay where you think that works for anybody? Even if it's honest.
I agree with you. I cannot looking at somebody and saying, even if you're trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to be helpful, is wild. To be like, just FYI, he told me he was thinking about me the whole time.
Well, it's also one thing if it's like Carolina got dumped and just said, hey, by the way, like this happened. So, it sounded like
to give you closure.
Just to give you closure.
Yeah.
Still not. I can't even create. I can't think. If you're both dating the same guy or pursuing the same guy, there's no world where that's like a cool thing to say.
No. Okay.
Strategic.
A side comment, though, is I will tell you what. We need a hot mic. We needed a hot mic.
They said this.
We needed a hot mic in this house. When they were sitting and having this.
They must have done it like in the bathroom when they were chilling or something.
Well, Carolina and Rose mentioned we were sitting on the floor talking. They were
probably doing makeup or something.
They were comparing notes, right? And it happens on this show. I want a hot mic because I would like to know how it was presented. Was Carolina digging? And then Rose was like, okay, so, I just want to know. How would you even
dig about something like that?
I don't know. I'm just saying, or if she said it in a way that wasn't like maybe specifically about that moment. I don't know. I want to be careful because obviously I hear it and I go, are you fucking kidding me? That's insane to say that to somebody. But also we didn't hear it. So part of me also wants to.
And Carolina didn't seem mad at Rose. That was interesting. Did you notice that? Carolina wasn't being like, I'm going to fucking kill. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this idiot like, said this to me, get away from me. At least maybe now. It looks like it might develop into that. But I'm saying in the instance, she was just hurt.
And then which was interesting. We have a preview with Rose crying and being like,
you stabbed me in the back. Yeah.
So I just have to throw that out there because we weren't in the room. There could be a chance where Carolina and Rose are sitting there and Carolina is digging. What did he say to you? Well, he said this. Did he mention anything about the dance? Because, and this is why I need to bring this up, because I went back to the last episode and watched when Grant and Rose sat down together when Rose was sad after the Carolina straddle session. Mm-hmm. And I was like, did he say anything that could potentially make Rose think this? He said to her, I wish I had the exact quote on me, but he basically said to her, I want you to know, like, of course, like, I care about you. I was thinking about you. He's like, just know, even like during the dance and everything, like, I was thinking about you the whole time, like, or I was thinking about you. So he did say something that had to do with like, hey, even during the dance, I was thinking about you, which I believe from Grant's perspective, 100% was when the women were walking down the aisle doing the song and dance at Grant, that he was like, he was considering Rose as an option. Like, hey, I was thinking about you. I didn't just like, out of nowhere, just only see Carolina. Like, no, I see you too. Yeah. He was saying, I see you too, but I won't lie to you. When you do hear it back, did he say to Rose, hey, when Carolina was straddling me and making out with me, the only person I thought about was you. I didn't even think about her. No, but he did say something that I could hear it that way if I'm caught up in the moment. So I just want to put that out there. It wasn't something, when I went back and watched, it wasn't something that was completely out of left field where it was like, because at first when she said that, and then Grant sat down with Rose and was like, hey, did you say this about me? And she was like, I thought that's what you said. I'm like, oh, this girl's just lying through her teeth, isn't she? Like, she's fully lying. I went back and watched it and I was like, you know what? To her credit, he did say something that like, it almost felt like telephone. Like when you hear him say that, I'm like, oh, he didn't mean it like that. He was just meaning, I see you. Don't think I don't see you, because she was sad. But she took it a different way.
But then when he confronts her.
Yes.
Right. So then he talks to Carolina about this. He then confronts her about it, which was wild, but he went for it.
I mean,
he just went for it. He just went all in. It was wild because she goes, you could tell that she was like, oh shit.
She was rattled.
But she didn't say, here's the context. She just went, I had a moment of weakness. She said something to the effect of, I had a moment of weakness. So it's like, we were all rattled and it was all kind of a crazy day.
Well, I think she was maybe saying, I had a moment of weakness in the sense that like how I heard you, like his word. I don't know.
The way I kind of read that was like, I kind of had a moment of weakness and told her this to kind of like rattle
maybe
her.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Maybe for sure.
And I won't do it again kind of thing. And it was a little bit like,
what I'm doing right now is I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit.
I'm not coming at her. The only world where I feel like it's appropriate to say something like that to Carolina is if Rose was like, I think he's a scumbag. I'm out of here. FYI, he said this.
Sure.
Almost like we all should leave because he's a bad, if you're trying to kind of say warning someone about
everybody,
something.
let's wrap
but
this
if you're
up.
in love with someone and then you're like, by the way, it's like, it's only sabotage.
Listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I did want to mention we don't have the audio of Carolina and Rose. So there's that factor. We also have then the clip of Grant and Rose, and it wasn't far-fetched.
Yes,
I'll say that. Did he say that directly to her? No. But he did, if you go back and watch it, he did kind of allude to something that I could see her misunderstanding. If she's really like, give me something, baby.
And you were just rattled by the fact that
she's crying. It's like, give me something. It's like, oh, he said this, it makes me feel better, and I'm going to take it kind of to the next extreme. Okay. With that being said, okay. Do I ever think it's okay to say to someone, hey, just FYI, he told me he was thinking about me.
Yeah.
No, I cannot understand under any circumstance unless someone's like, you tell me now exactly word for word what he said.
Yes.
But then he didn't say that word for word. So it's like, that feels like a wild game to me. And so my knee-jerk reaction is Rose is out here feeling insecure. Carolina's making her feel insecure because she thinks that her and Grant have a great Carolina and Grant have a great connection, and she threw something out there because she was feeling insecure that she kind of heard and was like, oh yeah, I mean, he did say this to me to make herself feel better. That's what I think happened.
Either way, just so
which wild. I think is so not okay. But I also wanted to take into consideration the other factors. This is a development. The other thing I would like to say is if Carolina and Rose, in their conversation, that is what Rose said to Carolina. Because I'm just in case, sure. If she said that to Carolina and said, hey, he told me he was thinking about me when he was with you. If I was Carolina,
it's on.
I would have lost my shit. If that's what Rose said to Carolina, I have to shout out Carolina for staying so calm, cool, and collected. And then all these women who were so annoyed about not getting time with Grant, I get you're annoyed, I get it, but I would be like, if I heard what happened, I'd be like, let Carolina have all the time she needs with Grant, because if I'm Carolina, I'm like, oh, we're talking all night about this. Because if I'm Carolina, and I literally think the Bachelor who made out with me hardcore and then had a full one-on-one date with me, and then I find out that he's telling another woman that he was thinking about her, that's a nightmare. I'd be like, we're talking all night. And so I just wanted to say that in Carolina's shoes, I'd be like, sorry, ladies, this has to go down.
Blame Rose.
Sure. Blame Rose.
Like, don't be mad at me.
Don't be mad at me.
She created this drama. I didn't say this.
Rose said something to me. And now, by the way, I got to figure this out, not just for me, but for all of you. Because if Grant's the type of guy who would do that, I don't think any of you guys want to be in a relationship with him. Yeah.
Well, also, I just thought it was weird that Grant didn't dig, that he didn't go, why would you say that? Like, what is the reasoning? What was the goal here? Was the goal to make her look less desirable? Was the goal to make it think that, like, I liked you more?
He came at her pretty hard.
But I was just, I'm not saying he should have come at her harder. I thought he should have asked more questions.
No. I'm saying, I felt like he came at her kind of hard without.
He didn't love it. I thought she was gone. The fact that she stayed was wild to me.
Production.
Right.
But I felt like he kind of came at her hard without asking her questions.
Right.
I was a little bit like, I get that he was flustered because it's like.
I think he felt like.
Well, he's like.
A little bit of like guilt. Like, I probably said something, or maybe I said something I shouldn't, and then you took it too far, and now I'm feeling bad. I'm now looking like the bad guy.
He kept saying, I'm not a player.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm a little bit like, okay, I totally understand when your character is put into question that you're feeling
attacked.
Also, too, you're on the TV show, and you're like, what are these producers?
What did I say? Did I say something?
But also, what are these producers manipulating? I need to correct the situation. So I get then that feeling of like needing to protect your character, the defensiveness. But I'm like, I agree. He needed to be like, what exactly did you say?
Why?
What did you hear me say to you that made you think that I said this?
But one small thing I wanted to bring up, just as like which I felt like was insane to me, and I didn't feel like anyone tracked it, was when Bailey caught the biggest stray of all time, which was when he goes, who did it? Bailey. And I was like, what?
Yes.
He's like, can I guess?
Yes.
And he goes, Bailey.
Okay, so when he was sitting down.
And then once she said no, he starts rattling
when
names
he was
off.
sitting, when he was sitting down with Carolina and he said, who said this to you? And by the way, Carolina, shout out.
She goes, no.
Didn't say Rose.
And
she wouldn't
he goes,
say it.
but if I guess, will you? And she goes, fine. Bailey. And I was like, what?
I'm like, Bailey?
What?
And then he goes, Dina.
But then he goes Litia, and him and Litia are in love.
But that's because he started.
He's going through the date.
But
it was really, it's the first one that matters.
Yeah.
So he has an idea of Bailey that she's maybe like so a certain way.
Maybe because she's so playful and was doing the selfies.
Because he didn't try to guess.
Is it drama?
He didn't try to guess with Zoe.
That's true. Interesting.
Bailey caught the biggest stray shot of all time.
Poor Bailey. I'm like, our queen's out here.
I'm like, they're the nicest person there.
By the way, our queen's out here when Serafina's making side comments.
Yes.
She's like,
I know.
Rose is beautiful. Also, when Serafina made the comment about the short dress, they shot to Bailey and Bailey was like rolling her eyes and was like, oh my God. Like Bailey's out here being a sweetheart.
Although I will say, smart, if it was like a deflection, because him guessing Bailey, but he would have guessed Rose, that to me would have been like, he knew he said something there he shouldn't have.
Oh, I don't think it's that many.
Like, can I guess? Was it Rose? He's like, I remember I said something to her.
I don't think that there's that many layers.
No, I'm saying the fact that he guessed the wrong person 3 times in a row
better for him.
Looks like he was telling the truth, is what I'm saying.
It's better for him. But I mean, Rose then like walks off and she's like, oh my God, I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to be gone. And the other women, no, okay. I will say this. I've been liking Litia. What I didn't love was that she asks Allie Joe, who is the instigator. She goes, how do you feel about Carolina taking him the whole night?
Yeah.
And then Allie Joe's obviously like not happy about it. And then Litia said, I wanted to make sure everyone got a chance with him. So I haven't taken him. Didn't love that.
You had the dinner. Stop.
I was like, you had it twice, right? I mean, technically Carolina got a full... No, but Litia was saying, because I had the dinner, I'm not pulling him.
Right,
but I'm like, you guys, if
you're
in Carolina's situation, you don't want to find out if Grant said that.
And the only reason why you care about people getting more is because you had plenty.
Yeah.
Right? You not taking any more time with him in a day is only because you had a whole dinner and you guys are like in love. Like, stop. I hate that kind of fake like justice there. It's like, no, you don't care about what everyone's getting. No one does.
It was sending me, by the way.
That's a political move for sure.
That's why I said I didn't love it.
Yeah, it's a political move.
I was like, why is she instigating the instigator, who's Allie Joe? So Allie Joe's the one who gets hot. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what do you think about this whole Carolina thing? By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't take time with him. Yes. I'm like,
not a great lie.
Don't love it. It was sending me, by the way, that the women, once they were given the crowns by Gary and the Golden Batch men, that they were like wearing the crowns, like crying in their ITMs, like with the crowns on, when they're like, we didn't get enough time with him, and they're wearing these like prom crowns. So then we have the rose ceremony. Yeah. Parisa, Carolina, and Litia already have roses. First rose goes to Zoe. Then Juliana, Alex, Dina, Natalie, Serafina, and Rose. So we've got the drama remaining in the house.
Yes. Except Allie Joe.
Except Allie Joe. Going home is Allie Joe, Bailey, and Chloe. And I'm really bummed out about Bailey and Chloe. I really liked both of them a lot.
I'm not shocked, though, at Bailey. I really didn't feel like they had connection. No. I loved her as a person on the show, but I didn't feel like they had connection.
Yeah.
Not crazy shocked by Allie Joe. I don't feel like they had anything.
No.
But Chloe was a maybe.
Chloe was a maybe.
But again, we kind of felt a little bit the same thing as Bailey. It's kind of like they seem cool, but maybe there's nothing there.
But I'm sad because I really liked them a lot.
But nothing shocking going home. Like Rose not going home was the shock.
Well, Grant said, so I say it's production, but Grant said we have a connection, which I will say.
They do, up until this moment.
They do. When they sit together, the past few times we've seen them sit together, especially that first night, they had a hot connection. So it might be him. He might be like, hey, I'm pissed.
But we need to figure this out.
But I need to figure this out, and I like her. Well, next week looks like it's about to go crazy. And it looks like we're having a showdown between Juliana and Carolina. And side note, I think you literally said night one, Juliana and Carolina are going to have a showdown.
Saw that from a mile
and I
away.
said, no way. 100%. And I think you're 100%
Yeah, because
right.
the two leaders, they're the two leaders. Like it's gonna
I mean, I don't know.
I guess Litia maybe is another leader there, but I do feel like they're operating in the same environment.
It looks like it's going to get really stressful. They're going to Madrid and it's about to get spicy.
Yes.
And I think it might be one of those things where it might be a Carolina versus Juliana and one of them goes home because Grant's like, that's what I saw. Yeah, it's a little bit like, if you believe me, you'll send this one home.
Exactly.
So I think we might lose one of the potential like people that he seems to have a connection with due to whatever drama is going to go down.
Interesting.
We shall see.
Great season so far, y'all.
Great season so far. Lots of drama. Lots of drama and only 3 episodes in. But family, we love you so much. Have a great rest of your week and tune in on Monday for Traitors. The Double Traitors episode.
See you next week.
I cannot wait. All right.
Bye. Bye.